Hello? This thing on? Hello.
I think
Uh,
so.
I think we're going, dude. It is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. This is the Concrete Town Hall. I'm Franz. It's Andy.
Hello.
Uh, we're here to give you all the news around concrete, of which there's actually some pretty big news this week, this month, this now. So, if you have questions, you should stick them in there because we got a lot to do. We're going to keep this bad boy moving, but let's jump right into it first. Let's talk a little bit about 929 and 8517. We released new versions last week, and they're awesome.
That's right. There's not too much to report there. You can get the release notes from the website, but 929 has some minor little fixes here and there. No major features, no security updates, nothing so critical as that. But we're always trying to make things a little bit better. So 929 does that. So if you're on 9.2 already, it's definitely a no-brainer. Grab that quickly. Otherwise, you should think about upgrading to 9.2.9 anyway, because it is a more stable, more secure, better platform for your websites.
There you go. Nicely said. Also, we'll prep your site for the
Yes.
moving vehicle tire switch that is the marketplace relaunch, which is happening right now. This very week that you are listening to us, we will be taking the old marketplace down and putting the new marketplace up. I'm going to show you my screen, and it's going to be amazing. Here we go. So if you haven't been paying attention, I don't know why you'd be watching this town hall and none of the last ones. We've been working on a new marketplace for quite some time. We have moved all of the version 9 extensions over from the old marketplace into the new one. We've been working with the developers that own those extensions to make sure their listings look good, to make sure they're connected to Stripe. If you are not connected to Stripe in there, you should have had an email from me yesterday. You need to do that, or it's going to be very difficult for me to sell your stuff. But we're ready to pull the trigger. It is not perfect. Like anything in life, there is always opportunities for improvement. That said, it is spectacularly better than what we have today. And I'm about to show you a large reason why. So what I can tell you is it will be launching this week. So if you have version 8 licenses, if you have something in the old marketplace that you want to get, now is the time to get them. We are not going to be selling version 8 licenses in the new marketplace. We are not going to have an archive of things that you bought from us 10 years ago. Those, we promised you those for 30 days. You have had 10 years. So please download them now because the new stuff is going up and we're taking the old stuff down. We will then continue to iterate on the marketplace throughout the rest of May and June to get it really dialed in. So as we have it live, it'll be much easier for us to say, oh, this feature really needs to do this other thing, and that button is nowhere near big enough, and all those kinds of things. We've just found ourselves making those decisions as we look at this internally and continuing to cycle and cycle without showing it to anybody, and have reached a point where we say, you know what, let's get people actually playing with this. So here I am on a Skyline hosted site that we set up on our staging environment. And nothing new here. And if I'm like, let me add some functionality to my site. At no point did I have to put a key in or make a project page or something. I simply clicked a button in my satellite site. This one happens to be hosted with us, but this will work on just core concrete wherever you host it. And you can see on the top of the new marketplace, it actually knows what it is I'm shopping for. And as I navigate around, and it's probably not going to work, so I've already actually installed this guy. We'll give it a shot. I'm like, yes, I want to go ahead and try that. Sweet. Everything I wanted. Yeah. So that fell flat because I've already installed this thing and it's slightly out of date. But the process by which you have to connect your site to the community today is painful and multi-step, and was great 15 years ago when we did the first version of it, but has slowly become worse and worse. And an awful lot of work has gone into the latest version of Concrete that we're about to release, 9.3, that lets us do this, where when you set Concrete up right away, it already has a connection to the marketplace, and you can easily install stuff, be it if you're hosting SaaS with us or self-hosted, just works. So putting aside the attractive new design and featuring integrations as a separate thing versus extensions and having a place for services partners to promote their work, all those things are great. But just making it way easier to actually get stuff is huge. So very excited about that. Anything else that we need to communicate here, Andy? I feel like I just dribbled on and on for a while.
I guess maybe preparing people for what it'll be like with regards to any licenses that are attached to old Concrete site records, once the switchover happens, like, we're going to be migrating these things over. It may not always be exactly perfect. It might be some bumps in the road, but yeah, I guess just this really will be, we're not keeping the old, just underscoring, I guess, the fact that we're not keeping the old marketplace around. Like, we're not gonna, RMRF that sucker,
Yeah.
but like, we're not keeping it public.
You
It's
will
not
not have
sticking
access to
around.
it.
Yeah,
we
we are.
will.
Yes, and in the event that we need to get information from it, there will be a process for that. But it's definitely not going to be something that we're coexisting with in a public way.
No.
So we are diverting traffic. We are switching it over, and and it's happening this week.
Yeah. So yeah, just to reiterate, so there's no confusion. If you have bought a version 9 extension from us in the last 12 months, it will move over to the new marketplace. So here I am on a staging server for the new marketplace. We've got this nice new My Account page, by the way. And if you go to licenses, and the gods are in my favor, here we go. You can see here are all my licenses, and so I can still download that package. So if you have purchased something from us for Concrete version 9 in the last 12 months, part of the great migration that is happening this week is we're exporting all those licenses and importing them into the new site. So you will be able to get them. Ideally, you would upgrade your site to 9.3, which we're also going to get to release. And it will do this fancy connecting to the marketplace stuff that I'm showing here. And so you won't have to do anything manually. But, if you are unable to upgrade to 9.3 or unwilling for reasons that are mysterious to me, you can still get what you purchased recently from us there. You will not be able to get your version 8 licenses. I don't foresee that to be a huge issue. We've been consistently saying that version 8 is end of life for literally years. So I think at this point, we've been very clear that we are doing critical security updates to version 8, and that is it. I don't believe there's an awful lot of add-on developers who are offering updates to their add-ons in version 8. Like, I don't see a lot of traffic that way of, hey, check out this new version of the version 8 gallery or whatever. It's just, if that is a problem that you have, by all means, contact us. We've got a contact link on the bottom of every page that we've ever built in our lives. Use the form. You can complain to us, and we'll try to make it right as best we can on a one-off basis. But we are not going to run two marketplaces. We're not going to offer a public archive of something that we don't own all the IP around. We're not going to do any of that. We are going to launch the new marketplace. We are going to continue to iterate on it to make it as best as we can over the coming months. And it's going to be a bold, bright new future for everybody. So there we go.
That's right.
Feels good. All right. Any questions coming in so far? Oh, here we go. We've got people asking us. Look at this. Long-time user, first-time Townhall attendee. Thanks for putting this on. Thanks for coming, Edge Marketing and Design Inc. It's good to see you. And we have a question. John has a bug he doesn't like in the current version compatibility, still not fixed. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So part of what's going on, John, and I guess I'll just share to explain how complicated our lives are. The market.concretecms.com that you have been working on, and all developers have been adding content, whatever, that is going to be the production environment. So it's been we've been focused on getting the content right there. Last I don't know, few weeks, better part of a month, I think, we have been working on a stage of all of that because we needed to get this connect to the community stuff behaving. And so that involved us changing community.concretecms.com and some other stuff too. So it became too difficult to do that in the kind of semi-lockdown production environment of that one box that we did. So yes, I see that issue. I'm confident that that issue has been fixed in the version that we are working on here. If it hasn't, we will fix it immediately after launch. Um, all those little things. I think there's been a couple of regressions of, hey, this was alphabetical, now it's not. That is because we have been distracted by a different staging environment than what you are working on. Um, so there you go. Oh, another question. Tigray? I'm going to call Tigray01. Theme building remains lagging behind. Already plans to boost theme building by supporting devs on this. I agree. We need more themes. If you're sitting there wondering how you can make a buck, build themes. Looking at, pardon?
That's what people want. Yeah.
That's what people want. That's right.
There. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch new voice of customer integrations that we're building into our hosting platform and Concrete CMS itself. And so when people set up those demos, we can get a better sense as to what they're doing. And just last week, we came out of a meeting where we realized 38% of people are looking for a theme within the first few clicks of setting up a demo in Concrete. So totally agree with you. We are under delivering on the, hey, here's just a pretty way my website would look out of the box. I know we have a handful of themes. I'm going to say about half a dozen that we built for another project. And once we get the new marketplace up and spend a few iterations making it really shiny, my next priority is to repackage those themes for the community. If you're a designer slash developer with a good sense of style, or maybe just a developer, you want to find a designer friend, you guys can get together, you can make some themes and get rich. I think that is probably a very high value, reasonably low effort way to help yourself and us. I don't know how else we could support devs on that. I'm happy to entertain ideas. That's probably a good forum question of what else do you need to start building themes. But if you just need a voice of encouragement, I'm happy to tell you, yeah, that is a great #1 demand. Good money, please do it. Okay. Oh no, I've been signed out of Google, so my notes remain. Oh no, they don't. Okay, well, excellent segue into now is the time when we like to thank people from the community for doing all of the open source community volunteerism that is our little corner of the internet. And people help in different ways. Sometimes they are submitting code, sometimes they're submitting just issues, sometimes they're contributing on documentation. It's difficult for us keep track of everything because there's just people on the forums helping one another. It's just nice to be part of a supportive community. But we do like to, when we get together every month, do a couple of shout outs for folks that kind of jump to our attention in those lists. So Andy, while I try to figure out how to log in, can you read through these thank yous?
Sure. Yeah. First off, thank you to everyone in the last month who submitted code to the core. That includes Denier, B. Saladin, CCM Enlil, Biplobice, Sharok, and M. Lokati. And then in a similar vein, thank you to everyone who reported issues with Concrete. In GitHub, that includes Nubish, TM Designs, Ashritha Bros, HDK016, Hishi, P. Studio 108, Denier, CDM Solutions, Morier, Simonton, N5TS, John the Fish, John 11, B. Saladin, Kernan, and Sharok. Thank you
Excellent.
to everyone so active in GitHub and really keeps moving the project forward.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's move into the PRB. let's see. How do I do this, Jess? Oh, here we go. Here she comes. Wait a minute.
I'm John the Fish, and welcome to this month's Marketplace News. Our first block is Login Return by Steve Beach. This is a simple block that you add to a page, and users can then log in, and after login, they return to that page. It also looks after the converse of logging out. After a user logs out, they return to the page. Login Return is free in the Marketplace. Our second add-on is also by Steve Beach. This is Image Captions. Image Captions is an image block that includes a text caption with some nice options for title, positioning, outlining, and flowing text around the image. Image Captions is $25 in the Marketplace. That's all from me, so I'll pass you across to Noor for the rest of this month's news.
Thank you, John. Our next two packages are by, you guessed it, John the Fish, for he's a jolly good fellow. Both packages are add-ons to John Form Reform system, and both are Concrete 9 ready. The first package is Reviews. Reviews lets you use Form Reform existing ratings, likes, and votes inputs to build comprehensive review systems. The package adds ratings, votes, and likes summary blocks to display your results in a fancy way. It'll display results in a table list with totals and averages in bar graphs and pretty icons. Reviews costs $30 in the Marketplace. Our next package is Form Reform Macros, a must-have time saver when building forms with Form Reform. The way Form Reform works, you can process your data on submission through the all-powerful pipelines, a set of steps such as check the data for spam, then validate the inputs, then save the data, then email the user receipts. Form Reform Macros lets you build reusable pipeline sequences. Say, for instance, you already know that the last two steps of your forms involve sending an email to the user and another one to your staff. You configure a macro to do just that and add the macro to each form instead of having to add each step separately every time. Now imagine only one macro instead of 5 or 10 different steps. Like I said, a must-have time saver. Best of all, Form Reform Macros is free in the Marketplace. That's it for today. Thank you and be safe. See you next time.
Dude, awesome.
Nice.
Thank you, PRB.
Powerful.
Cool to see that new stuff coming in. And yet no themes. So there you go. Another call to action for can we please have some new themes? Awesome. All right. Now, looking at my agenda, we're doing Behind the Blocks, Andy.
Wow. I've never
Do you
seen
even know what Behind the Blocks is?
You know, I don't. I'm going to have to do some guessing.
All right. Well, I'll save you the pain. Jess,
Could they be stories from Portland Labs?
Oh my gosh, you're right. They are. They are, in fact, lessons learned and stories from the front line of big business government consulting. What we talked about, I forget what we talked about last month, but we talked about event incidents and how stairs are dangerous, but you can live your life anyways. This month we're talking about quarterly client meetings and why and how we do them. Okay, so we didn't used to do this. We would just kind of blissfully go through life assuming that if people had something that they needed, they would send us an email or open a support ticket or ask, because why would you not? And what we've learned over time is that like 20% of your audience will definitely use all of those communication mechanisms and consume 80% of your time, but often on problems that are pretty low reward, and you've got a whole bunch of people who just don't think about reaching out. So one of the responsibilities that Evan has here as VP of Customer Success is to set up and maintain quarterly check-in meetings with all of our largest clients. And he puts these on the calendar and says, oh, it's time. It's that time of the year again. We got to check in with each one of these folks. It's usually, well, it depends on the client. There's a couple of clients where I think, I'm going to make sure to book them as pretty open-ended meetings. Doesn't book anything after it. Usually it's a 30-minute call or less. Anybody who's done account management knows the value of just being your client's friend and knowing what's going on in their lives and the business and whatnot. So there's a little bit of that. How you doing? How's things going? But you can structure them a good deal better than that. So, for us right now, particularly, it's having a better sense as to what types of problems are you solving with concrete, and just having not a questionnaire that you bludgeon somebody with, but a pool of questions in front of you. So as you're having a conversation, you can guide it in a useful way. So, walk me through your typical workflow when using our CMS. Like, what are you doing every day? Can you show it to me? And they're doing it every day, so it's probably working for them. And you probably have some idea of what you trained them to do 2 years ago when you gave them the website. But how has that changed? And like, where is it that you discover, oh, you guys are taking 5 steps instead of 2, or I could rearrange this and make your life so much easier. Like, as that conversation goes, you'll uncover ways that you could use the current system better and things that you could build that provide great value for them and maybe solve new problems. So challenging people, hey, what types of business problems are you solving with the CMS? What other ones have you considered? Often people bring concrete in to solve a marketing problem for their main website to start with, and sometimes it takes a little bit of conversation to get them to realize, hey, you could, this can solve more than marketing problems. You could bring your partners into a secure area and solve some communication problems around having the latest information on your product suite. You can, you can lock down part of your site and replace that incredibly out-of-date page of links that you call an intranet and have a secure communications portal for your employees. Like, there are all sorts of different types of problems that you can solve with content management. And so we ask a bunch of questions around that. Have you considered, where else in your organization concrete could provide value? And you can straight up ask, here's what I'm looking at. Conversely, can you share an experience where the CMS fell short of your expectations? What happened? What was the impact? So giving people a few opportunities to maybe vent or complain, but that's probably not the right word. Just share what their experience has been to kind of challenge you on how well have you really delivered the results that you promised. Try to do that once a quarter, and our clients never feel like they're being left alone. They know that we actually genuinely do care about the value they're getting out of concrete, and that stuff does inform what we're going to work on next. So there you go. Is that
Yeah, no, that's
Jess
great.
is nodding gently in the background. That's what she wanted me to say. So glad I got it right. Sweet. Okay, it's time to slide into show and tell. Jess, do you want to drive? Yes, she does. Here we are. Welcome to the State Library of Iowa, built with concrete. So I like a library. Libraries are cool. One of the things about I never understood until I went to, it was Italy, and tried to go into a library and was asked to leave because I was not a student or like a member. Like, you got to pay. I'm like, what? Like, I'm just looking for a place to work, man. It's a library.
Yeah.
So we are blessed. A failing infrastructure system here in the States, but we still have a lot of free libraries, and that's pretty cool. Here is one. It's all built with concrete. They got this very cool map. I think this is what all the libraries across all of Iowa in this fun interactive map. There's actually hundreds of library websites here that are all built with concrete.
Wow.
Across Iowa. Yeah, it's just kind of cool. I wish I knew more about how they were dealing with that infrastructure. That'd be good to follow up. We can maybe have a round 2 of this if somebody from the Iowa library state system wants to reach out to us. We don't host this or anything to do with it. So bravo to you. I wonder if you're managing literally hundreds of separate concrete sites. Oh, there's our calendar. Or if you've got multi-site working, there's value in both approaches. Concrete does have a multi-site feature, which would let you have hundreds of different library sites all in one install. But then you are managing one big install. So there's kind of there's pluses and minuses for both of those. There's a little calendar on the side. So looking pretty cool, and getting nice value out of it. Oh, I guess we do know it's created by Informatics. That's what Jess is telling me. So excellent. Thank you for doing that, Informatics. Good job. Yes, version 9 multi-site is a cool feature. We're working on this right now in dev. We agree. We use it to run hundreds of sites for the Army. So working with pretty solid stuff. All right.
That's yeah. It's always it's impressive to see things used in the way that they're intended. I don't know why that's impressive. Like, I guess it's just, it's not like there's no documentation on all that stuff, but it's just a lot of times you bring a new feature out and you kind of put it out there with some explanation, but you don't, I don't know. I feel like
it's complicated.
Yeah, like it requires, a champion as well as just putting it out there and some like, here's a new thing that we did, enjoy. But a lot of times we don't have the time or the bandwidth or, just the inclination to be that champion at the client level for people that we're not directly working with all the time. And so to see someone use that feature or similar features like that, like in the way they're intended, just on their own is very is gratifying. It's pretty impressive too. Those sites seem to have a lot of content, so nice work.
Nice. Yeah, it is satisfying. And I mean, I know, because there's like a whole skeleton model where like you can kind of set up like this is the sitelet that we're going to recreate for each one of these multi-site things. And
yep.
That of course impacts permissions, and pretty sure you're going to be using advanced permissions if you're doing multi-site. So pretty quickly you get into a complicated setup.
Yeah.
But well worth it. I mean, we actually have a perfect kind of yin yang in that one of the stacks of sites we manage for the Army uses it, and there's another stack of sites that we don't manage that doesn't. And so they're updating. A new version of Concrete comes out, they get to go hit update 80 times and hope that runs smoothly. So you can definitely see the advantage when you're thinking of it from that angle. All right. Any last questions about the marketplace swap? We promise if you read the blog or been on the socials, tomorrow is the last day that you can download your version 8 extensions. I mean it. Please don't get angry later. Didn't promise to be the Library of Congress for Concrete extensions. We just said we would sell you some a long time ago. So new marketplace is coming out. If you haven't connected, if you're a marketplace developer, you're watching this and you haven't connected your self to the Stripe account, please do that or bug us in the forums until you can. And I think that's what we know. I think it's back to the grind, Andy.
That's right. Back to the development minds.
Start launching. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in a month. Bye.